gone to the local Mexican restaurant and brought
Get
them.
band back. Coach, I mean, welcome to everybody that's tuning into us right now because we could just keep talking. So we're looking forward to having some people, make some comments with us. But I'd like to welcome you to this is Master Networks live, and we are going to be here. I'm here tonight with my very good friend and my partner in crime a lot, and that is Coach Favreau, CoachGlo Favreau. And Coach is an amazing person. Can I give a little bit of your bio? I mean, we could be here for just an hour talking about all the things that you've done. But so one of the things I want to make sure everyone knows, because I know you don't always toot your own horn, right? So I just want to let everyone know that Coach is the New York and Connecticut Regional Advisor on Growth and Development. That was her most recent title. She's also an area director. And how many Master Networks chapters do you have underneath you?
6.
So before that, you were the first, before area director, when it was called Success Coach, you were the first in the New York region. That was, how many years ago was that? Do you remember?
I want to say 5.5.
5.5. And we're coming up to a big anniversary for you, right? I think isn't it coming up?
And it passed. It just passed.
Oh, I thought I looked at the thing, and on your timeline on your LinkedIn, it says 5 years and 11 months. So
I put the wrong date in.
You're backdating us. So it's 6 years, right? Is that right? Correct. Then? Okay, you just passed. I mean, that's a milestone considering we just started this like 7 years ago. Right? Now, also, this isn't the end. I mean, this keeps going on. You are also the founder of Gliding with Glow Life Coaching, which means you are a certified life coach for women. We can talk about that. You're an author, and you go back to a ton of experience at Robert Half. You were training, you were bringing people and getting people's jobs and opportunities. It's kind of like the same thing you're doing now.
I know.
Don't sound so excited.
No, but I have certainly grown in other areas. I don't mean grown in height, because we all know I'm not growing this way. Actually, like we were saying before, I'm shrinking. I even asked John the other day, because I was looking at pictures that we took at a mixer, and I'm between Rick Gabrielli and somebody else, and I look like a dwarf. So I said to him, am I shrinking? And he said, yes, you are.
We won't say we won't say how many pillows you're currently sitting on.
I have 2 pillows that I'm sitting on, one in the back, and my feet, because I'm up the highest, that's still dangling.
I asked you before if the chair could go, up any higher, and you said no, it was at the highest.
This is it. This is it. We're at the max.
So you know what? Go back to some of the things like pre Master Networks that kind of made you and brought you to this this time with what you're doing. But more importantly, you know how we always say you're one relationship away from changing your future, and Chaz Wilson says that, CEO of Master Networks. So can you see those forks in the road that brought you along that journey?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, as you know, and we've talked about it so many times, I was in the staffing industry for over 15 years, and that's where my HR experience came in. And I was a area director there, or they called it an area manager, and I was opening up new branches for the staffing company. Fast forward 2021, I'm still opening, but it's now new chapters for Master Networks. But
right.
Yeah, my fork in the road is, when I look back, Tina, was in 2008, when we all know what happened back then.
Financial crisis, yeah.
And I was one of the 100 in my line of management that were asked to leave. And all of a sudden, salary and benefits gone in an instant because of the recession. So I really didn't know what to do at that point. Then it was actually my son Michael and John, who at dinner one time said, you've been a career coach all these years. Why don't you just transition into a life coach, go back to school and get certified? And I said, you mean like open up my own practice?
Wow. Put a
And
shingle out.
yeah, and I said, and hang out my own shingle, and they both said, yes, yes, you can
Yeah,
do
that's
it.
cool.
They're my biggest fans. So that's exactly what I did. And that was, I'm in my 11th year now with the practice. But it just seemed that, that fork in the road, just that expression alone has just followed me so many years because it's led me to where I am now, where I work with women. I always say, if you know a woman who's feeling stuck, she's at a fork in the road. So am I going left? Am I going right? Or do I stay where I am? Or am I moving forward? And it's just followed me all these years. So that's how I just pretty much just implemented that into my practice. And I really believe, Tina, that this has been my calling.
I agree with that, getting to know you. I just wanted to say, Chaz Wilson said we're two of his favorite
Oh, hi,
people.
Chaz.
Um, well, what's really interesting is you remember we've talked about this recently, the first time we met. And you know what? It's one of those things. It's like the same thing happened with me and Sammy. Like the first time I met her, it's like I can see it. I could see it like it was yesterday. And it's also same with you. And you were sitting there across from me at the Yorktown chapter, which was meeting in the Yorktown Chamber of Commerce. Right? We were at a long table. You were sitting across from me. And do you remember what you came there? What category you came
Oh
there
my
as?
gosh. So I decided at that point
I
that
have to have everybody tell
I
you.
decided at that point in my life that I was at a fork in the road only because I was really starting to get a little tired of being a life coach, career coaching, life coaching. I said, I'm going to try something different. I'm not going to give up life coaching completely, but let me try something different. So I got introduced to a network marketing company and I came into Master Networks selling warranty on home appliances. That was my category. I mean,
I'm only listen, that is a good thing. The point was I honestly it didn't like you didn't match up to it. There was a like I like to read like I can read people's like kind of energy and stuff. And I was like, that doesn't match like what you were like I don't know. It was just a really interesting
do you
thing.
remember how my soundbite was? I mean, it was pathetic. I was like, my name is Glo Favreau, and I sell a warranty. And this is how I would say it, like with the shoulders. My whole body language was just a neon sign, like I'm not happy at what I'm doing, but this is where I was at this point in
I
my
get
life.
yeah, yes, and that was fine, but I mean, I don't know. Then what happened is did you leave and come back? Like, did you visit and
No,
then come back?
No, I haven't left since I got here. At one point, I wanted to leave, and and I'll tell you very quickly if you recall. So I decided, okay, this is a boring soundbite. This is a boring thing that I'm doing with my life and wasting my time. Let me just stick with what I know. And then the following week, I came in and I said, my name is Coach Glo. I'm a certified life coach for women. And you came up to me at the end of the meeting and you said, yes, that's who you are.
Yep,
That's who you are. So then
yep.
that's where everything changed. However, I was in the Yorktown chapter a short while. And if you recall, I came up to you at the end of one meeting once and I said, I'm not sure that this is for me.
Yeah, I remember.
I'm not sure this is for me because I'm not a what's in it for me person, but I have given some referrals and I'm not getting anything. I don't think these people understand me. I think they all think I'm a shrink. Or not that I have anything against them because listen, I bow to therapists and shrinks because that's why I'm here today. And I didn't I told you I was
Implode.
Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
But I just, it just was a point in my life where, like, going back to your expression of the fork in the road. And I just did not um, feel that these people got me. And you said, well, why don't you educate them? Why don't you? Because I was the first life coach in the region
Yep.
also. Now I
Yep.
think there's 15 of us. And I
Yep.
love the other 14. We all
Yes.
get along great,
Yep.
which is wonderful. Which is not
Co-opetition.
usual. But you said, why don't you educate them? Teach them what a life coach is. And I took your suggestion, and I'm glad I never left because, as you know, and I boast about this all the time, here I am 6 years later, and today Master Networks is responsible for over 65% of my business. That is nothing to sneeze at. So I say that to let you know I'm not going anywhere. I'm opening up more chapters. We just kind of put our toe in now
Upstate.
in upstate, but there's a lot of other chapters up there that need to be open. So I'm not going anywhere.
Well, thank gosh. Because, but anyway, the other thing, which is really interesting about what you said in your story was that I say that to a lot of people and that is educate how to refer you. But also, see, you're in like a bit of a sticky, and you've said this to me, you're in a bit of a sticky situation where are people going to give you, are business people going to give you testimonials that say,
You're going in and out.
okay, you tell people about your, not being able to hear people. I think my internet is messed up, but anyway, how you business people are not going to say to you, I have low self-esteem, correct? So they're not going to say you have low self-esteem.
So I don't know what you see on your end, Tina.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what you see on your end, but you're frozen to me.
Oh,
and
okay.
I didn't hear anything you said.
Okay, I'm not frozen to me, so somebody tell us if we're frozen. Somebody added comments. Stephanie says she can hear me just fine, so maybe it's just a combination of the two. Anyway, so I will tell the story of what Coach said, and that was Coach said to actually Amanda said she can see and hear us both fine, so that's cool. So Coach said to me that people are just not going to go and kind of admit to having a life coach, right? Or they're not going to admit to having to get some help. And I think that was the big difference in what Coach was saying, was that finally people started to listen, and I think they started to even talk about their sisters and their daughters. Let me see if I can take this off and
I have a full on my end here. Are you okay? There you are. But I can't hear you. You're muted, honey.
there. How's that?
Excellent.
Okay. So it was weird because everybody was saying they could hear us, and then I couldn't hear us. Okay, so talk about the fact that people don't want to sometimes admit to be going to a life coach.
Mm-hmm. Well, as I have said many times, I think the hardest thing for anyone to say is, I need help. And they think that it's a form of weakness, when in fact it's a really big act of courage to recognize, like, I'm feeling stuck and I could use a little help. Now, sometimes, someone hears, that they're seeing a life coach. I'm like, what's wrong with her life? Like, I thought she had it together. But I always say that just because you see a life coach doesn't mean you're messed up. It means you're fired up. You're fired up about moving to another level in your life, whether it be, a career, whether it's a business, maybe it's just a personal goal that you're looking to achieve. And you get these, what I call stumbling blocks that keep getting in the way and preventing you from growing.
So if somebody was to, okay, if some like again, I've heard people talk about, thank you for speaking to my daughter, thank you for speaking to my wife, thank you for my sister, thank you for me. I've heard this because I think the more that you were here in Master Networks, they got used to people saying thank you to Coach Glow. I know Vanessa's on this call. She said something before, and she talks about it openly. She's like, "Yeah, she was great," and I think you fired her, right?
Well, the reality is that I felt that, Vanessa was a great client because as a client, she was an excellent student, meaning she followed direction, she did the exercises, and she got some results. Why am I going to hang on to her for another 6 months when I felt that we had, or she had achieved the goal that she came in looking for?
Right,
There-
that's
there's-
wonderful. So it sounds like
that's
you
what
have
I
this.
love about life coaching. You don't hang around all the time. I can fire them whenever I want. And actually, I thought that was a great way of Vanessa sharing that at a, thank you and testimonial at the end of a meeting. She said, Coach Glow fired me.
Yeah. Well,
That,
but
that's a
that's great. It's
compliment.
not like you're dragging people, dragging this on and on if you think people have reached the goal that they had come to you for. Now, I know also just want to mention not, that's one aspect of what you do is to really help the women achieve goals and all kinds of any stumbling blocks, as you said. There's a whole other part that I just want to make sure we make mention of, and that is you do work with quite a number of people who have addiction issues.
Mhm.
And I think that, that's got to be something. Just I wanted to go out there to the universe that you're there. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, thank you, Tina. So, one of the things that I have found from my face to faces is that there are a lot of people out there that do need help and have um, shared with me some addictions that they have. But the only reason they were able to do that was because I was so open about what I refer to as the dark chapters in my life. And I've been in recovery now for a couple of decades. And that was what gave me the impetus to become a life coach. But, it's not just, my my addiction was alcohol. There are, sometimes people hear an addictions coach and they think alcohol and substance abuse. It's much more than that because there are other addictions, like this is my current addiction that I'm working on.
The
Okay.
phone.
It, it's addicting. There's no other word for it. It's the same thing with food. It's the same thing with
Shopping.
shopping, gambling. Food is a big one lately, especially during when the pandemic first
Yeah,
started.
tell me about it.
And I really just apply how I learned when I got sober. So I just apply those principles and those steps to helping them overcome their addiction. And then there's addiction to partners. There's codependency. Uh, some have been addicted to um, in the relationships, they're toxic relationships.
Yeah,
So we end up talking about that. And sometimes it's sad to say, but our families of origin can be very toxic. And you end up becoming addicted to really not favorable behavior. You start
right.
filling that void and acting out, as I did for so many years. But
Yeah.
I love that part of my practice and what I do because it's very rewarding to me.
That's
That is the reason, that is my passion of help, especially working with women, because I did start working with men, but I just feel like I bring more value to women, and I'm still trying to figure guys out. I mean, they're great human beings. I love them to pieces. You can't live with them, can't live without them, but I get women more. I just feel that I bring more value to women. And
Well, Jane is oh, there's Stephanie's saying so true, but also Jane, I like Jane's comment. Not everyone has an amazing chef as a husband. I would be addicted to food more if I had him cooking for me. He's amazing.
you know, thank you, Jane, for that comment. It's interesting because just 2 nights ago, I said to John, I can't eat like this anymore. I he you know he is not a chef, not like Justin, your
Yeah,
future son-in-law,
yeah.
who went with John. It started out as a hobby, but he's phenomenal. I mean, we have dinner and I'll say to him, 5 stars, this was better than the last restaurant we went to. This has to go in your top 10. But I can't eat like this anymore, Tina.
Is he?
I feel like this.
Yeah, but wait, is he gonna write a book or anything? You say a cookbook or no?
No, that's my job. He's not going to write the book. He's Here's an expression for you. He's in the kitchen where he belongs.
But you know what? He started his own business recently,
Yes, yes,
and that's in his water rescue equipment.
yes. So he sells water rescue equipment to fire departments and police departments throughout the United States. So, and I'm learning a lot about it. And now, with all these hurricanes and different
Oh yeah,
disasters, water disasters that we're having, it's really
necessary.
absolutely almost to the point, now with supply chain also, that
Yeah,
it's really become
can't get to the people that need it, right?
it's become very challenging. So now towards the end of the year, a lot of the fire departments that he works with, they start to really double up on like what they might need for 2022.
Yeah.
So I'm finding his business a lot more interesting than I did at the beginning. But it's because I'm learning more. I don't need to know everything.
Yeah.
As you know, I'm a big sponge for learning. So the more I can learn, the better it is for me, because I wasted so many years not learning and not paying attention and being in a world of my own, that now I have a lot to make up. So I spent the weekend taking a course, what and anything new that I can learn. So now I'm learning about water rescue, which
So tell me, so I wanted to just talk about will you oh there he is. John's there. He's commenting on us. There he is. Yeah, we're talking about you, Joe. We always talk about John. We thought he wasn't listening. Um, but what about this book? Will you talk about this book you're writing, or do you not want to talk about it yet?
I'm so glad you asked. So glad you asked, because from the last time I remember, I said I'm writing a book. I've been writing this book for 3 or 4 years now, and talking about it and talking about it. And I finally had to sit back and say, this is exactly the advice and suggestions that you give to your clients, is if you say you're going to do something,
Yeah.
just do it. So I have to walk my talk. And I one day was so excited. I said, "Oh, I finished the book." And I ran to Facebook and I posted, "I finished my book." And I got all these comments, "Congratulations, congratulations." After that, I asked John, "Will you read the book?" And when he read the book, he said, "You left a lot out."
Oh,
And I thought, "You didn't talk about this. You didn't talk." I said, "Oh, you're right. Oh, you're right." So the good news is, update, fast forward, I finished the book this past Sunday. So
excellent.
I'm having it proofread now and editing, and I've been talking to some publishers. So I'm really excited and nervous, at the same time, because they said that you can submit the manuscript, but you go through this approval process, which means they may not want to publish, and maybe they will. But
Well,
listen, I don't.
you can always self-publish. That's what I did.
Yeah, I was going to ask you. I've heard from a couple of people that I really should look at that route.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about that. I did a lunch and learn. Oh gosh, going back probably a year ago during the height of COVID, and I did a lunch and learn with the young man, and actually I have his book over here. He was the one that was talking to me about it. It's Jack Rosenthal, young,
Yes, yes, the young
he's like
fella.
17, and he did a book called Investing for Teens. And he was the one. So I took and I did it's on our YouTube channel for anybody that wants to see it. He described how he got onto Kindle Direct Publishing. And, it's basically, if they kind of control it, but it depends on what you want to get out of it. If you want to get sell a lot of books, and make a lot of money off of it, what you're doing more. And when you're putting it on Amazon is you're giving them quite a cut. But what I like about it, when I put my guide on there, I can just print one off and send it. They can print one off and they'll send it to somebody. I don't have to buy a stack. I don't have to put a lot of money into it. I didn't put a lot, I only paid for like proofing and formatting to get it onto their platform. That's all I did. All I paid for. And what I wanted it for, you have to look at when you're doing a book is what's the outcome you're looking for. In my case, I wanted to speak from it. So therefore it's on Amazon. So, but anyway, so Coach, going back to that, can you give us a hint of is it your life story?
It's a memoir.
Okay.
It's a memoir, but it and then I thought, should I really call it a memoir? Because I know a lot of people, but I don't know a lot of people. And why would they buy my book? The memoir of Coach Glo. Like, who's Coach Glo? Somebody in Illinois is going to say, who's Coach Glo? Unless they're in Master Networks and we've met at Connect, then I'm sure that we know each other. But no, my whole reasoning, Tina, for writing this book was if I reach one woman, I'm good.
Not only that, though, I want to say one thing is you have grandsons. And I do think this is something as a legacy to them as young people and young men and whatever. Hey, grandma lived this life, and you can be really proud of her. And I think that makes a huge difference. That legacy, that's your legacy.
Well, I have to say, Tina, speaking about the book, since I know that Jane McCarthy is on here, I really have to give a shout out to her because I did a coaching of like a few sessions with her, and she did the mapping with me.
Yeah.
And we focused, the ultimate goal was to have the book finished and published by December 2021, this year, by December.
That's fantastic.
And she really helped me to get there. So thank you, Jane. And Jane Storm. I love when she says her name. Jane Storm.
She has all of those
her props,
which are awesome. So
but she was very instrumental in helping me at least get back on track and finish this.
Jane's giving you some love there.
I knew though, if I didn't do it, and again, I mentioned before, there's so many life coaches now in Master Networks in our region. We're all so supportive of one another. I love Jane. She helped me with that. I speak with Kathleen Troy on a weekly basis. We're very supportive of one another.
Let's go back to that. So going back to, we're both in leadership and Master Networks. And what's amazing is this spirit of collaboration that's going on. I mean, Stephanie Bellafato, who's on here with us right now, she had the idea. She said, why don't we do Facebook Lives and get collaborators onto that? So we do that, when somebody comes up to us and says, hey, I collaborated with so-and-so, and we'll just interview them on a Facebook Live on Tuesdays at 3 p.m. if we have somebody. And Stephanie does it with me. It was her idea. And it works out really well because we ended up, one of our collaborations, I call it Collaboration and Connection. That's on our Facebook page if you want to see it, the other ones that we've done. But we did one with Jane. She had Jane, and we had Kathleen Troy, and we also Lisa Ferry and Beth Mendoza. So the four of them have a collaboration that they're doing together on Friday nights. I mean, that's amazing because this Master Networks brought them together. So we're trying to capture those stories. So honestly, if anybody listening is collaborating, we would love to interview you. And what we're doing with those is that you get a chance to talk about your business, but then how you met and what you're doing and what that collaboration looks like. It's really cool. So just get in touch with myself or Stephanie Bellafato to let us know that, and you guys, the whole group can come on, however many are collaborating. It's really awesome. But, just to talk about your journey with AB's on here. He said we should trademark co-opetition. It's probably around somewhere. But the thing with the co-opetition, the thing with the community that we have in Master Networks in our region is just incredible. Don't you agree?
Oh, absolutely. And Tina, I'm glad you brought that up because as we all know, we have a very low deactivation rate. So
Yeah, we have 2.2 last year.
I feel bad for the people who
Percent.
just quit and didn't get instant results because, again, going back to what we spoke about earlier, when I wanted to leave, had I left then, I would not have made the not just relationships and connections, but I mean, a lot of these people that I've met in Master Networks, as we say, we don't just do business together, we do life together. That's not corny at all. It is for real. I mean, there are people that I've met in Master Networks that will be there. We can't choose our family of origin, but I've built a whole new family in Master Networks, created it. And it's been just from somebody saying, let me help you with this, or I'm helping them with that. And it just opening up more doors of opportunities for both of us. I would not have had that.
Well, I mean, look at us even doing this. I mean, this, I was like, I'm not getting on Facebook Live or I'm not getting on video. And now I'm proud to say that Mr. Ken Walls is here. I mean, he's like the king of like, late night, he's up now. He's usually up much later, doing his own podcast and show and everything. And he's amazing. And
Yes.
again, all the people that, we've met through and have been on, even on stage at Master Networks Connect. I mean, remember when we were at Connect in person and remember Satima Gali, is it? Satima Gali, the pro
Yes.
football player? I mean, amazing, right? Amazing speaker. And then afterwards, afterwards, you got a chance to meet him and you were like, he's so big. He looks like, but he says he admits that he looks like The Rock because he does. And he's just way up there and you were like way down there. And I think we have a picture of it and
We
it's
do.
hilarious.
No, that was excellent. And that's where I met Ken Walls, was at Connect. And
Yeah.
I've jumped on a couple of his lives
Yeah.
as well.
Yes. I
So,
hope you're feeling
yeah,
good.
I was
Ken.
just going to say prayers and light to you, Ken. We had you in our prayers for a long time there. So I'm glad you're here.
And the other thing I know, I saw he interviewed Victoria from our Louisiana group the other night on his show. So it's amazing. It's like everybody is, he said he's feeling great, by the way, which is,
Awesome.
yeah, I mean, what a road it's been for everyone. Now, I just wanted to talk a little bit about, what do you see for the future? Because we've had this amazing growth in this region. I mean, we're like 49.5% growth in the last year and a half. Which it has a lot to do with, I think, the culture that we're espousing, right? But the other thing is we're getting the word out. I mean, you are getting the word out. You're amazing with it. I don't think what's the, I think it was Rob Genovese who coined or maybe it was Rick Gabrielli who said, you can't say no to Coach Glo.
No, that's Maggie Carey.
Maggie
Rob
said that.
Genovese gave me the name Coach Grow.
Yeah, Coach Grow instead of Coach Glo. I love that.
Yes, and Maggie also coined the coach with the unique approach, which is on my website. So
That's great.
thank you,
So it's a
Maggie.
lot of collaborations, but what do you see? Like, because I could see one thing, but what are you seeing, like where this could go?
Well, right now, as I said earlier, we just dipped our toe in the water up in Orange County. I mean, not Orange County, upstate New York, which is Western and where is that? Western and
So
where?
we've got Western,
Western,
Central is Syracuse,
Western and Central
Western
New
is
York.
Buffalo, Rochester area.
Yeah, so I mean, we just started there, and as I said earlier, my vision is that I would like to see a couple of chapters. I'd like to see a Capital District chapter. I'd like to see us really, maybe right there on the tip to Canada. I mean, we already have. We are international. We could say Master Networks International. We have members that are because of Zoom that have joined us from the Netherlands and other parts
Oh,
of Europe, and it's just amazing. So to answer your question, you know the vision is just profound because it's just it's like touching the glass ceiling. Like there is nothing that can stop us now, again, because
wow.
um we have so many systems in place now, and the networking that we're doing, and as you said, getting the word out. We're really spreading out, not just in New York and Connecticut, but again, going up into upstate New York for me, and Orange County. We just went into Orange County. I really am looking to build um, Orange County rather quickly.
But let me ask you something. What does it mean, besides for us, the fact that we love to get people in and all, what does it mean for the individual member to have that kind of access?
Well, I can really speak from my own experience, Tina. And, again, going back to the word family, and it's not a corny phrase for master networks. We say all the time relational versus transactional. We are extremely relational. But I think that sometimes some members don't take full advantage of the value that we bring in just reaching out to one another. I think and again, just from my experience, sometimes they just don't want to be the one to say, hey, Tina, you want a face to face, or like, why would somebody want to have a face to face with me? Why not? This is how you expand your network, and you're starting to meet people just from like so many different chapters and now different regions. And I know a lot of members in our own region that are doing face to faces with Master Network members in
Around the
Dallas,
country.
in Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
in other regions, and have formed incredible relationships. Larry Blackman came in for the golf tournament to
He
New
flew
York.
in.
This guy lives in Texas.
I know,
Okay.
and Stephanie had him stay with her. It was wonderful,
Yes,
and
yes.
I think we had a party every night at her house.
And we had
Thanks,
a
Stephanie.
lovely barbecue. But the good thing about that is, and Larry and I followed up with a face to face. It is that he was so impressed with the formula that we have here, if you might, the formula, and what is that formula? It's really very simple. It's just that a lot of people don't take full advantage of it. It's taking 30 minutes out of a day. You don't have to do this every
Oh,
single day to meet somebody new and get to learn about them, but at the same time, let them get to know about you, because I, it's, I just think we do a disservice to ourselves. And if you're not excited about what you're doing, like I wasn't 6 years ago, stop doing what you're doing and find something that you can be passionate about. Because I'll tell you, Tina, sometimes I hear people do their soundbite and I want to call them right after the meeting and say, can can I have a session with you?
they need a life coach after they do
No,
this.
and it's not.
I know.
I don't want them to hire me. I'll do it. I'll do a discovery session, a pro bono. But um,
You don't know what
find
you're saying,
something.
coach. You're
I'm
gonna have 500 plus people
No,
call
no, no,
you.
no. But what I mean is, if you're not passionate about what you're doing and you don't love it, like I'm not sure I want to do business with you.
Well,
I don't find that attractive. That's
yeah.
just me. That's
Well, no,
just
no. I listen, I have to say that you know, it's 1 hour, right? It's 1 hour plus it's face to faces and things like that. Just, put a I hate to say it, but put a smile on it because you're there, you're on. How you do one thing is how you do everything, right? We always
exactly.
talk about that. And what I don't understand is people that kind of like sit back and kind of or don't have a video on. Listen, if you're driving, we don't want you to be driving and to be, on Zoom with us because that's dangerous. But what I'm saying is if, and some people of course don't have a camera, I get it, but if you do, especially leadership, if you're leadership, you need to be on. You need to be on.
Mhm.
That's hard for me, but I think ultimately, what I do now is I've always done this, but I've changed my message a little bit, and that is I call every new member. I try to call the day, but sometimes it gets a couple days later, and I call them, and I'll always say to them, the first thing you can do is go make face to face appointments with your fellow chapter members. And I said, don't stand on ceremony. Don't wait for somebody to come to you, and they kind of just need that little extra push. So if anybody's listening and you're not doing them, do 30 minutes. I always say do 30 minutes. Don't get stuck with someone you don't like for an hour. You can always extend it.
I,
You
I
can have
think
another one.
I think what prevents some people from doing that, Tina, is that that's not really their comfort zone. They're expecting you to come to them. And as a life coach, and I suggest this quite often, is pushing yourself to step out of that comfort zone, because once you step out of your comfort zone, believe it or not, that's when you begin to grow. When you start, it's almost like it's facing your fears and not being afraid of what the outcome is, but at least that you did it. Just like the fear I had of writing the book, not writing the book. Who's gonna who Nobody's going to read it, who's going to, and I went through all of that, and I just knew that I would be very unhappy with myself if I didn't do it. So
Yeah.
that writing is not my comfort zone, but I did it because I felt that it was something I had to do, legacy from my grandchildren, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But I just had to do it, and I feel great. And I'm not looking to be on Oprah or Ellen. And every time I say this to Kathleen Troy, she
Right.
says, "Stop saying, don't say that.
Maybe you will.
You don't
Listen,
know."
I wanted to say what AB said here. AB says their comfort zone is their danger zone. That's great. The other thing I wanted to just reference was, um, my friend and my mentor, Dave Jenks, who just passed away. He said to me, and he, was paraphrasing, I believe, the Pressfield, the author of a book about the War of Art, because I know the War of Art comes from kind of ancient. Um,
Want some water?
yeah, that would be good. Thanks. Um, so anyway, what Dave would say to me is, he said, "Let fear be your compass. Go to that which you fear, and it will open doors." And then when I realized it was public speaking, for instance, and I went and started with Toastmasters because I had to get, I can I see you? I can't. There's so many comments. I can't keep up with it. I have to have. We had to get
I
Ken
don't
on here
see
so we can teach us
anything.
how. You don't see it if I put it up.
I don't see anything.
By the way, Liz Gabor said we'll have someone from Israel joining tomorrow.
Oh,
Her chapter. Yeah. So
so Chaz needs to change the name to Master Networks International.
all right. Well, you tell him that.
Putting that out there.
I'm sure that'll be some legality there or something. But so anyway, but this thing about facing your fears is really, like, for me now. So obviously it was public speaking because I used to get up and I would turn purple, sweat, and want to pass out. So I knew that I would have to learn how to public speak if in fact, that was what I wanted to do. I felt was important. And now when I feel kind of that fear, not the fear of somebody's going to, beat me up or something, that kind of fear, but that fear of like, I'm not going to be good enough or something. Now I run towards it. I don't just walk anymore. Like I know to run towards that and say yes. Like if someone says, do you want to do this? I'm like, yes. And then I figure it out after. But I think it's important when something scares you like that you're a limiting belief, say yes and then figure it out and get a whole bunch of people like you to get behind them.
Exactly. And then when they say yes too many times, then they have to see me so I can teach them how to say no.
Well, I'll tell you, and that look, Sammy, I thought you were going to go to sleep. You said you were tired. See, she has to be on here just to heckle me. But anyway, um, so so along with that, I just want to say, with everything that's gone on, Coach, you have been instrumental in my life. Like I'm lucky. It's like I have you on speed dial. And also I know that like I actually, if I say anything that kind of, puts me down, I think of you on my shoulder going, don't say that, and it's really funny. You've got me completely conditioned. So you always tell me, don't say the word try, don't say it. So if it goes sometimes to come out of my mouth and then I grab it back.
I know. Maggie says that to me all the time. She says, "Oh, somebody said try at one of her chapters." And she said, "You better not let Coach Glow hear you say that."
Yeah.
Because again, try is for those people who don't know why I say that, try is a word of doubt. So if I had said, "I'm going to try and write a book," that's doubtful. Just listen to the sentence. I'm going to try and write a book versus I am going to write a book.
Yeah.
It's
Energy
very
behind it, right?
different energy. It's more convincing that I say I'm going to do it than I'm going to try it. Like anything, I'm going to try and lose weight. No, just lose weight. Get your butt out there, start walking. I have to walk now all the time because all this food that John puts on my plate. I mean, now I'm trying to work with him on portions because it's like a hungry man meal. It's like it's mounted. I don't like it's can you tell if he's still on?
John, tell us what you're really thinking if in the comments, please. But hey, I just want to know what he's doing with the leftovers. If you're not going to eat them, what happens to them?
No, we eat them. Nothing goes to waste in this house. That's for sure.
But listen, and we only have a couple minutes left. I just,
Oh my
I wanted you to come on here with me because we probably talk how many, well, there's days that we don't talk, obviously, and there's days where we see each other often. This is one of those days. So I started with you in the morning. I'm ending with you, the last person, and I can't think of a better person that I would want to spend the day with.
Well, you're going to get a lot of texts from all your other fans that are
I know,
on this
no, I
call.
know they're all
You
gonna.
really feel like that? You know how they are. I
By the
thought I
way,
was your favorite person.
John's back. John's on here.
Oh, okay.
He's saying, "Yeah, you can't win." She loves it, John.
That's
Don't
true.
take that badly. You just, I mean, the comments are coming in fast and furiously. It's like everything is Coach Glow has taught me so much. Um, we all have a little Coach Glow in our ears. That's from Sammy. Both of you have been instrumental in my life. I just want to say, like this, the fact that we could get a whole bunch of people to watch you and I talk for an hour. Something's wrong. They need to get coach. They need to talk to you about getting a life.
Well, our whole theme for tonight was about networking. And, I
You
really hope
proved it.
that those that are listening, that I hope they're not one of those that jump into the meeting, do their 30-second soundbite, and then they run away and we don't see them. That's going back to the fear, they're like running away from. That's why we're here is to help them.
Yeah.
We always say that
Yeah.
professional development and personal development, but It's facing that fear. And I know, there are a lot of us out. I have my own fears, so I can include myself in that. But it's
Right,
facing
who
those.
doesn't? Right, who doesn't have it? But this is the thing, there are so like, I have to say, though, I bet you the people that are watching right now, they're not the people that come and just go away. These are people that are invested in each
But
other.
they know people in their chapters that are, so maybe they can take some of this back and do a face to face with them and say, I heard Tina and Coach say this at in the late show, and it might help
Maybe I don't
you.
see you showing up that much or to the best. And the other thing is one thing is, please, if you hear a soundbite and you don't know what somebody does based on that, please tell them in a nice way. This is about, we love Toastmasters, and that means that you give feedback. And another thing Dave always said is that, feedback is the breakfast of champions. So can you imagine if we could get all of these people that are in our chapters and our network to be clear, to have clarity themselves first, to be able to speak about their message and find their voice. And I know we've helped some people find their voices, which is fantastic. I love that. Especially Miguel. I love Miguel Sampaio. Like, he's a gem. And, I know what it was like for him to come and speak in front of everybody. And now he's like unbelievable. He's an area director. So these are the kind of things, like, if please, Kathleen Troy wants to know if I'm heckling the audience. Yes, I am. Those of you that know me know that I will do that. So, but really seriously, what's important is help somebody. If they're not making sense, if they're not looking, try to say it in a nice way and talk to people and help them get the confidence that most of the people, I think, on this who are listening have. They've grown into it. We just need to help the next generation. We need to help the next group of people, because if we're a safe place to do it in, then imagine what they're out in the real world. We need to help them. So if you could get anything out of this tonight, please go. And when you see something, say something.
Yeah, I just don't want people to think that networking is hard, because it is not. It is not hard. It's just be yourself and be friendly. Talk up to someone, call them. You don't have to wait for them to call you. Do, like you said, without beating the face to face, to death. But it works. It really works. The things we find out about each other and how we can help one another. And they always say it's not what you say to a person; it's how you make them feel. And you don't get an opportunity to do that unless you get to know them.
And by the way, I just want to say one thing. So the way that I've have StreamYard set up, which is, I'm sure it's not correct, because I get a bunch of comments that just say Facebook user. And it's really funny because I think one of this is very amusing person. I think it's Pasquale, because somebody's being really funny. And but anyway, Sammy's saying yay for Toastmasters, because she herself, up until recently, was the president of a Toastmasters.
Yes.
I'm not sure if you still are, Sammy, but think about that. Anybody wants to know about Toastmasters? It's a great way of learning how to public speak. It's not scary, and Sammy can give you some information on that. So why don't we leave it there, Coach, and let everybody go to bed. And I just want to say, I wanted, again, to have you on is always special, and to speak with you. We could talk for another,
I know. And I want to thank you, Tina. I want to thank you and Master Networks for giving me this opportunity to serve also as an area director and a regional advisor. I do it proudly, and I love doing it. I even have John almost slipped the other day and called me Coach Glow.
I think that might be, I think it's become you, it is you. So anyway, Coach,
thank you.
Thank you, Coach Grow. We appreciate it. Hey, Ellen. Thanks, Ellen, for showing.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Tonight.
John said, great job, ladies.
Thank you.
Bravo. All right. Bye, everybody. Thanks for.
Good night, Gracie. Not too many people know what that means.
All right. Bye, everybody. And by the way, somebody wants to know, do you have a quote of the day? Are you going to end? Do you have a quote of the day?
It's my favorite. It's not a quote, but it's what I live by. It's Shakespeare. To thine own self be true.
Leave it at that. Good night, everybody.
Thank you. Good night.
Thanks for showing up. Stay on, Coach.